Me, Sam, and we're back at it another week of Throwback Thursday. And this week, we're going to be throwing it all the way back to the 1920s and talking all about how the evolution of springtime and how it's changed clothing. So, what that means is, of course, all the fashion trends have changed from back in the day up until now. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you some sneak peeks. So let's throw it on back. So first I'm going to start off with the 1920s. In the 1920s, females were feeling a little more masculine. And by this, I mean they dressed, they were really feeling their independence. So this led women to wear button-down blouses. And these button-down blouses were very airy. You know, in the springtime, it was nice to throw these on because, you know, when it started getting humid out and started getting hot out, they weren't wearing these tight clothing and a bunch of layers. So it allowed some air to flow through. Ladies, you know what I mean. But take a peek. I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see here are some ladies from the 1920s wearing their button-down blouses. And as you can see, they look very airy. Can you imagine the breeze flowing through there on a nice spring day? So moving forward, I'm going to jump to the 1950s. Hop, a little bit of a leap there. So in the 1950s, women were dressing more feminine and with more poofy filling dresses. And by this I mean they were a little tight up here, but don't doubt the skirt. The skirt poofed out and it was very filled and it could be seen with some flowers on it, and it was very, very gorgeous. And one thing that went along with this type of dress to wear in the springtime was a nice little headpiece. And a headpiece could be a matching flower that matched the dress, or like a little hairnet. So ladies were very fashionable when it came to the springtime during the 1950s. Let me show you an example. So this is actually an ad, but it's a perfect example about how I said the dress would be a little tight here, and then it poofed all out at the bottom, and it had some flowers on it, as you can see. And this young lady doesn't have a headpiece in, but maybe you guys remember having a headpiece, having a little flower in your hair, or maybe even a nice gentleman picked a rose from the rose garden. Moving on, we're going to jump to the 1970s. And in the 1970s, baby, it was a change of pace. In the 1970s, it was all about a burst of color. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, reds, purples, yellows, greens, you name it. I'm talking about all different kinds of color, baby. And not only was there a lot of color, but there was all sorts of different patterns. There was squiggles. They were going down, up and down, to the left and the right. You know, we can't question those fashion trends, but they just kind of happen. So when wintertime was over, people burst these patterns right out of their closets. And the hair pieces that I talked about before, where it was just a little flower, these were replaced by nice little hair bands that had all the different kind of patterns on it and the colors. You could be seen wearing a yellow hairband and some like flowy like pants. It was all about the burst of color because, you know, in spring everything comes back to life. The trees turn green, the flowers blossom. So that was really reflected for the clothing that you wore during the 70s. Here, check it out. So as you can see, look at all these colors, and it's pop, pop, pop. And the hairband that I was talking about, you can see in this lady's face in the middle here, burst of color with her green dress. And then she wasn't too shy to wear orange. And we got purple over here. So, as you can see, I'm pretty sure that backs up my statement of a burst of color. I don't think you'll ever catch me wearing an orange dress. And then last but not least, we have today. What are we wearing today during springtime? So in springtime, during today's generation, you typically find a dress. People throw on what we call sundresses. And these sundresses can be a little form-fitting. Some of them can be a little more poofier, and it's great because we get a little bit from each generation, and then it all comes together. So, sundresses nowadays could be long or short, and I do have to say, though, they definitely have calmed down in terms of the patterns. It's not like the 70s with all those squiggly patterns and such, but hey, you can always find all these different kinds of dresses. But this is an example of kind of what you would see today. See how it's a little form-fitting, but hey, it is a bright yellow. So springtime's all about, ditching the jackets, throwing on these bright colors, and showing your best self in spring. So make sure you comment or like below. I want to hear what your favorite springtime fashion was. All right, have a great day.